Good morning, everyone. I'm S.Banait, and I'm from India Materials Institute in Madrid. This work is a collaboration between India Materials Institute and Imperial College London. So I would be presenting my ongoing work on effect of meta-precipitate distribution on the mechanical behavior of additively manufactured inconal 7-minute lattice structures. So I'm assuming people know what lattice structures are. So in first part of my thesis, we started working with primary lattice designs. So one of the first designs that we did was BCC structure, body-centered cubic. It is now well established that topology of the lattice structures, it plays a very crucial role in deciding the mechanical behavior of the lattice structures. In fact, there is a criterion called Maxwell's number, which can tell you how the lattice is going to behave. It will either behave bending dominated as shown in this red curve, or it will behave in stretch dominated way as it is shown in the blue curve. So based on that assumption, we started with BCC lattice. Let's now focus on these stress strain curves. So as you can see, there are two different microstructures. The red curve denotes the as-built lattice structures. Now the as-built microstructure, as you can see here from the TEM micrograph, it is in solid solution, no precipitates whatsoever. You can see that BCC, according to Maxwell's criteria, it is a bending dominated lattice, and well, it did show that as-built microstructure behaved in a bending dominated way. But then we went further and we heat treated according to the standard heat treatment for inconal 7-minute. We heat treated another BCC lattice, and we found out that in spite of being bending dominated, the mode of deformation, it changed to a stretch dominated behavior. So this was kind of a news to us. Now, and you can see the heat treated microstructure here. So here we could see that we did increase yield strength to a considerable amount. But at the same time, we also introduced these instabilities in the plastic flow. So the next part of my work, we thought that can we take some approach wherein we can maintain the strength of the lattice, but at the same time, could we reduce these instabilities? So with our collaborators at Imperial College, they have successfully demonstrated these means of architectural control. So there are several methods that they have demonstrated, and they have successfully shown that if you incorporate some of the, so what they did is they incorporated some of metallurgical phenomenon into the lattice structures, and they successfully showed that if you do that, the damage tolerance of the lattice structures is increased. So amongst many methods, we selected this method of precipitation hardening. So here you can see this is, the gray is matrix lattice, and this yellow is some sort of precipitate. So these are two different phases. And this shows how the meta-precipitates are distributed in the lattice. So our objectives were obviously to improve the strength, concurrently increasing the mechanical stability, and to investigate the coupled influence of microstructure and the meta-precipitate distribution on the mechanical behavior of lattice structures. So now that we had set our objectives, we went on further to design the lattice structures. We decided on 3 different designs. You can see D1, D2, and D4. These 2 are the unit cells of FCC and octet. So let me first describe these to you. So if you see D1, you can see that octet, 1 unit cell of octet is stacked right behind 1 unit cell of FCC. So this is 1 octet, 1 FCC, 1 octet, 1 FCC. We named it as D1. In D2, we clumped 2 unit cells together of one topology, and 2 by 2 by 2 by 2. And in D4, we clumped 4 together. So 4, 4, 4, 4 in this way. We also designed single crystal FCC and octet truss lattices just to have a comparison of mechanical properties with these 3 structures. So here you can see the FCC unit cell. Here you can see the octet truss unit cell. These are the dimensional details. So unit cell was 2.5 by 2.5 by 2.5. Global dimensions were 20 by 20 by 30. And the idea was to maintain a constant volume fraction of octet of these 2 phases. So only the method of distribution is different, but the volume fraction is constant in these 3 structures. Once we had designed, we went on further to actually fabricate these lattice structures. So the system that we used, we fabricated them with LPBF, laser powder bed fusion, and the system was Renishaw AM400. The material, as the title suggests, it was inconel 718. It prints well. These were the process parameters. Now these are optimized process parameters that we have done a separate study on optimization, especially for the lattice structures. Now, from past experience, we knew that our as-built microstructure is in solid solution. And as it was in solid solution, we decided that we don't have to go for the standard heat treatment where there is a first step of solutionizing and then precipitation hardening. So we directly went to the step of direct aging. So these were the conditions. Again, we did a study on aging conditions, and these were the optimized conditions. So now we had generated 2 different microstructures as built in solid solution and p-caged. Here by these 2 yellow arrows, they denote the gamma double prime superlattice. And next step was uniaxial compression testing. So let's see now the results. First, let me show you the mechanical behavior of as-built lattices. So you can see that the different colors for all the lattice structures. 2 things can be inferred. So one thing is all the lattice structures, they show a typical bending dominated behavior, which was evident from our previous studies. And structures D1, D2, and D4, the yield strengths of D1, D2, D4, they were roughly in between those of FCC and octet. But you can see that there's not much difference in the as-built microstructure. Now comes the p-caged condition. As these are very chaotic curves, I have shown them separately for each lattice type. So let's first focus on FCC and octet. So you can see the difference of yield strength. I have denoted the values here. So first thing is both structures, they show a typical stretch dominated behavior. And let me clarify what this value of stress drop is. So stress drop is the difference between this peak value and this value. So this is kind of the difference between 2 stress levels. So we can see that octet truss, it shows higher yield strength. That's why we selected as the precipitate phase, and FCC, comparatively lower yield strength. That's why it was the matrix. Next is D1, D2, and D4. So here you can, as now, if you see especially the octet truss, you can see that these instabilities are random in 3 samples. you can see the variation in stress drop here. As opposed to octet, D1, D2, and D4, you can see that variation in all three samples is much less. Here you can see these average value of stress drop for each three curves. Again, the behavior is stretch dominated, but the randomness and instability is much less. So this is just analysis of all the data that we had collected. So if we focus on yield strength, it was obvious that as-built would show less yield strength and p-caged would show higher yield strength. Specifically in p-caged condition, D1, D2, and D4, the yield strengths lie between FCC and octet, somewhere in the middle, but they are still comparable with the yield strength of octet truss. In terms of first stress drop, we can see that amongst all five, D2 shows the least amount of stress drop. That means it's a good and predictable behavior. The variation in stress drop is also very less. In terms of absorbed energy, we calculated this at 40% strain. So only except the octet truss in p-caged condition, it was a clear trend that p-caged microstructure would absorb more energy than the as-built condition. And here it is also evident that the D2 lattice design is optimal between D1, D2, and D4. Here, these are the numerical values of mean energy absorbed. Now, I would like to, this is still ongoing work. So till now, I would like to now conclude my talk. So what we till now have understood is microstructure design and architecture control. They synergistically enhance the mechanical performance of lattices. The instabilities that are introduced because of precipitation, they can be effectively alleviated by optimal meta-precipitate distribution. And the D2 lattice design, it exhibited optimal mechanical behavior, good yield strength, minimal stress drop, and enhanced mechanical stability. So I would like to thank all of you for your attention. I would also like to thank Comunidad de Madrid, through which my project is funded. This is MAT 4.0 program. I would like to thank our collaborators at Imperial College, and I would like to thank my institute for all the support. I would also like to take this opportunity and announce that there's a PhD or a postdoc position in our group that is sustainable metallurgy. The research area would be additive manufacturing of lattice structures. If you are interested, if anyone is interested, they can correspond with my advisor, Teresa Perez Prado here. Thank you.